Alright guys, Traversal ENT in the building. I'm back with another one. Okay, let's get straight to it guys. This is going to be an interesting video, so do the right thing. You know when I release stuff is always fire. Make sure you hit the subscribe button if you haven't already. Yeah, you listen to my videos, hit the subscribe button. If it's the first time you're hearing me, trust me, you're going to want me around. Hit the subscribe button. Let's destroy this YouTube algorithms, right? Because they think they got one up on us. They think they're smarter than we are. So let's show them that they're not. Hit the like button on the video straight as you enter. Let's get to the material, guys. Listen, I've said a lot about Oleksandr Usyk, yeah? And I'm going to say a lot about him today. But before I say any more, let me give the man his props. He is the unified heavyweight champion of the world at the moment, okay? He beat Anthony Joshua. Well done, Oleksandr Usyk. Okay? Now let's talk about the controversial. Guys, I'm going to give you lot a list. 3 categories, all right? 3 categories of fighters. And I'll tell you each category and how they fare against Oleksandr Usyk. This will give you a lot of perspective because a lot of people don't. They ask me, why do you say what you do about Oleksandr Usyk? So I'm gonna break it down to you lot. There's 3 lists of fighters here, 3 categories. Yeah, you got the fighters that will beat Oleksandr Usyk, in my opinion, and in the opinions of many boxers in the sport. Sorry, many fighters in the sport of boxing. Then you've got the guys that will go life and death with Oleksandr Usyk. In other words, 50-50 fights. Could go both ways. It'd be an absolute war if they fought. And then you got the fighters that will give Usyk a good fight, right? Now, if you come under that category, you stand a chance of winning, but you're not the favorite going into that fight. Usyk is, all right? So you've got 3 categories of fighters. We're going to look at each of them. And I'll give you the names of the fighters. It's going to be quite interesting, guys. So pay attention now. We start with the fighters that will absolutely beat Usyk. Now, this first one is my opinion. Some of you lot will not agree. It is what it is. I'd stand by what I say, and I would put money on this fight. Dillian Whyte against Oleksandr Usyk. Dillian Whyte will beat Usyk. If Usyk is your fighter and you put him in the ring, and I tell you he's up against Whyte, you're not feeling very confident right now, are you? Let's say your life depended on Usyk winning. How confident are you that Usyk beats Whyte? Think about that for a second. Your livelihood or your life depends on Usyk winning this fight. How confident are you that Usyk beats Whyte? I'm telling you, he doesn't win that fight. Next person on the list of the guys that will beat Usyk, Jarrell Big Baby Miller. This guy's too big. He's too physical for Oleksandr Usyk. He will beat Usyk simply because of size and physicality. Simple. There's no up and down about it. We all know Usyk's kryptonite. He doesn't like physicality from a massive heavyweight. All right? He will not survive that fight against Jarrell Big Baby. He's just too big. He loses that fight. And next fighter here, Deontay Wilder. Even now, Deontay Wilder will beat Oleksandr Usyk, most likely by knockout. Most likely within the first 5 rounds. If Anthony Joshua, at his worst performance, was able to mark up Usyk, I don't know how, because I didn't see how Joshua really hurt him like that. But Usyk's face at the end of that fight, you could see the guy had been touched. That couldn't possibly be Deontay Wilder. Because if he lands on you like that even once, that's it, fight over. Tyson Fury against Oleksandr Usyk. Tyson Fury is just too big. It's just too big, guys. Too physical, too big. Depending on what strategy Fury adopts. If he adopts an aggressive strategy, he wins this fight, no doubt. If he adopts a boxing strategy, it'll be a very boring fight to watch. I agree with Roy Jones and say this fight is not one of the most interesting fights out there. It makes sense for the belts and for Undisputed, but it's a boring fight. Now, these guys I've just given you, those are the ones, in my opinion, that 100% beat Oleksandr Usyk. Really and truly, Joshua should have been on that list, but he stunk it up. He stunk it up, so he can't be. Let's move on. Who goes life and death against Oleksandr Usyk? I believe that Joseph Parker would go life and death against Usyk. I believe that's a 50-50 fight. Parker has experience in the heavyweight division. Parker is a good boxer with a good brain on his head. Parker is fast. Parker will feel confident to attack Usyk. Usyk is not 6'6", 6'7", 6'8", 6'9". He's not that kind of height. He's not even 6'5". Usyk's about 6'4" and a half, 6'4", 6'3" and a half, 6'4". Joseph Parker will not hesitate to attack Oleksandr Usyk. He will not fight Usyk timid like he fought, or cagey like he fought Joshua. Parker won't do that. So that's a 50-50 fight. It's life and death, that fight. In fact, I think that's probably one of Usyk's best fights, to be honest with you. Aside from the Dillian Whyte fight, I think that's a great fight, Parker against Usyk. So promoters, if you're paying attention, keep listening, and you guys subscribe too, because I'm giving you a lot of great fights here. Let's keep going. Oscar Rivas, a spirited Oscar Rivas, like the one that fought Whyte. If you put him in there with Usyk, say Usyk's your man, how confident are you that Usyk beats Oscar Rivas? You're sweating. You are sweating, because you know it's not an easy fight for Usyk. That's a life and death fight. It's not guaranteed. There's no clear-cut victor here. Oscar Rivas, yeah, him. Next one. Louise King Kong Ortiz. Now, guys, I'm going to tell you this. Ortiz is on this list because of his age. Because of his age, what's his name? Usyk stands a chance of beating Ortiz because of Ortiz's age. If Ortiz was young, Ortiz would be in the list of those who beat Usyk for me. Ortiz's left hand is devastating enough to knock Usyk out. Ortiz is a Cuban boxer with a Cuban school of boxing under his belt. This guy can box very well. He's a cagey, crafty southpaw. Will cause Usyk all sorts of problems. But his age will work against him. So it's a life and death fight. If you told Ortiz that by beating Usyk, he can get all the belts, you think you're not going to get a spirited Luis Ortiz turn up on that fight? Now, these are the life and death fights, as I told you, right? Let's move on to the final category, guys. These are the guys that will give Oleksandr Usyk a good fight, a great fight. Now, going into these fights, Oleksandr Usyk will be the favorite, rightly so. However, that doesn't mean he wins them all. Some of these guys could upset him. I believe potentially 2 of them in that list there would definitely upset him. I won't give you the names though. I'll just run through the names of who's on that list. Charles Martin against Usyk is a good fight. It's a great fight. I would watch that fight. Usyk would be the favorite, but he'd be the favorite, but it's a great fight to watch because upsets can always happen. All right, Charles Martin, the one that walks the earth like a god, yeah, him. Otto Wallin against Usyk, stylistically, it's a good fight. I would give Usyk the edge on paper, but stylistically, I don't know what would happen in that fight, but I know it'd be a good fight. Joe Joyce against Usyk would be a fantastic rematch. They fought in the amateurs, right? Joyce wants another crack at Usyk. That would be a great fight. I would love to see that fight. Yeah, I'd give Usyk the edge, but there's no guarantees here. Daniel Dubois against Oleksandr Usyk would be a fantastic fight too. Dubois has the power to finish Usyk. Usyk has the intelligence to outbox and outclass Dubois. But how much has Dubois progressed since his embarrassment to Joe Joyce? These are all good fights that Usyk is what's the word I'm looking for? Usyk is the favourite going into these fights, but nothing is a foregone conclusion, especially not in the heavyweight division. And the last guy I've got in there is Andy Ruiz. Even Andy Ruiz would give Usyk a very good fight. All right, guys? You give him a good fight. It'd be a good fight to watch. Now, all of these fighters I've given you here, this is fantastic for Usyk's resume. If Usyk can go through all these guys here, he can have a claim to be one of the best heavyweights that's ever done it. Is he got enough left in his career to fight everyone there? Of course not. Does everyone there make money sense? Not necessarily. But they're all good fights, all right? But the top ones that I told you, Dillian Whyte, Jarrell Big Baby Miller, Deontay Wilder, Tyson Fury, all of these guys beat Oleksandr Usyk. So understand, when the heavyweights, not you, the YouTube viewer, but when the heavyweight fighters themselves look at Oleksandr Usyk, he looks very, very sexy in their eyes. Pause. No pun intended. Very, very attractive. And that silverweight he's carrying, pooh, they jump at the thought or jump at the opportunity to get in there with Usyk. Mark my word on that. Usyk is not a bad fighter, but in my opinion, he's no dark horse in the heavyweight division. Someone with the physicality and aggression, with enough intelligence, will put Usyk out of his misery, in my personal opinion. But we'll see. Maybe Usyk will surprise the whole world, and me included. I doubt it very much. Controversial ENT signing out, guys. Peace out. I'll be back with some more. Subscribe.